Hey everyone, today we are looking at 3 easy to play banjo songs that are going to make you sound like a pro. Now that's a little bit of a joke. It's a little bit tongue in cheek, right? Because we see these amazing players. They've got every fancy trick and technique in the book. I would say I've got a few of those fancy tricks myself, but at the end of the day, a wonderful old time song played simply is always going to sound great. You're always going to sound a pro when you play a song like that. So the reason I picked these specific songs is that they're not necessarily the first couple of songs you encounter when you pick up the banjo. They're not the stereotypical beginner songs. And I think they just have a little something extra to offer, a little bit of a different flavor to those standard beginner songs. So let's get into it. Now, a little bit of good news. These songs are coming from my Beginner Clawhammer tab book that releases next week. That's next Friday, February 15th, 2025, if you're watching this in the future. If it is before then, you can check the description. There's a pre-order on my website. You get some bonuses with that, some video lessons and things like that for a few of the songs. So I think that is really worth checking out. But for these songs, I'm going to give you 2 of these tabs for free. You can find those in the description as well. A little preview of the book there. Cool? Okay. So first song, I have to say, I slept on this song for way too long. I don't understand how this song hasn't always been one of my favorites. It's got an interesting scale, an interesting sound to it. It's about an outlaw who's killing people and robbing banks and goes on the run, gets caught, gets hung. All that stuff I love in an old time song, right? And somehow, I don't know, this one just never quite entered my consciousness. And it was Roscoe Holcomb's version that really made me fall in love with it. And look, anything Roscoe Holcomb does, I'm a fan of. Somehow I just missed this one for a while. And so I really wanted to include it here. The song's called John Hardy. Sometimes you'll find it as John Hardy Was a Desperate Little Man, which I love that title as well. Here's what it sounds like. So a couple little things to talk about here I think are pretty interesting. So the reason this song sounds a little different than other songs you might hear in G tuning, like Will the Circle Be Broken, You Are My Sunshine, songs like that, this song uses the mixolydian scale, which is also what old Joe Clark uses. That's what gives this song its interesting sound. One thing I want to mention when we go into the tab, so you're going to hold that C chord in the beginning, right? And then we're reaching up to hit that 3rd fret. So what I like to do, and it's going to make it way easier for you, is you're just going to keep your C chord fretted, and you're going to reach up with your pinky to hit that 3rd fret, and then just lift up. Way easier than trying to slide your index finger down or anything like that. Just reach up with your pinky, fret that 3rd fret, you'll be in great shape. And if you want to just level up the song a little bit, if you do want to make it a little fancier, one way you'll often see this song played is just with a little drop thumb or hanging out on that C. So if you feel comfortable with drop thumb, if you want to add that, just give it a try. Next, we have one of my favorite fiddle tunes. We've simplified it a little bit here, but it still sounds really great because we start to get to play a little bit up the neck. This is a classic fiddle tune. It's called Eyed Susie, and so we're going to play in the key of D. So when we do that, we're going to play out of double C tuning. So let's just do that together. All we're going to do is lower your 4th string to a C. And you're going to raise your 2nd string from a B to a C. So as you might have guessed, double C tuning gets its name because we have 2 C's now, our 2nd and our 4th string. Look, don't be afraid of alternate tunings if you are just starting out. They're there to make our lives easier, right? So I know so many people say well, I know open G tuning, or I'm not an expert in that yet. I can't learn any other tunings. Nope, right away. Start with those alternate tunings. You'll be so glad you did. So now to get into the key of D, we're just going to capo at the 2nd fret. And we'll move that 5th string up 1 step to an A. And we're ready to play. I'll play it slow and then fast. And if you've grabbed the times, you can play this along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. up to speed, it sounds like this. Beautiful song, right? And it just has that little bit of a fancier feel because we are, in the key of D. We're playing just slightly up the neck. We're just playing one chord position up the neck. Yeah, really cool song. I love the sound of this one. And a quick note about your left hand on this one. So when we're in that first chord position, the easiest way to do this is just lift up just slightly. Keep your fingers in that same position and slide down those 2 frets rather than trying to totally reset your hand and find those fingerings again. Just keep your hand held the same and just slide down using your thumb on the back of the banjo. That'll make it a lot easier. And again, like what a lot of people do here, same as John Hardy, is they might just throw a little bit of drop thumb in here. So if you want to get fancy, that's a good way to do it, and it sounds pretty cool. And then finally, our third song. This song is like a practice exercise rolled into a song. It's so much fun to play. It'll do wonders for your accuracy. I'm a big fan of using songs as practice exercises, right? I just think it's more fun. It keeps it more interesting for me. So this is a great one to work on your single string striking accuracy. Use a metronome because we're really skipping around these first 3 strings quite a lot. So again, this is another fiddle tune. We're in the key of D. So we're in our double C tuning, cabled up to the C. And the song is called Angeline The Baker. Yeah, it's a wonderful fiddle tune. Here's what it sounds like. Or up to speed. Such a happy sounding tune, right? Man, I love that one. I just think it's like one of my all-time favorite banjo tunes. I've never taught it before on here, so I'm excited to bring this to you guys. Remember to grab the tab. So yeah, the biggest tip I would give you here is just make sure those single note strikes are really clean. Work on that. We've got that little hammer on at the beginning, and it's a fretted hammer on that you're going to use your pinky for. So that might take a little practice to get nice and clean, nice and loud, but take your time there. It'll sound awesome. And again, if you want to fancy this one up a little bit, if you want to make it, a little more complex, look for spots where we're going from the 2nd fret of the 1st string to open. And that's a great spot for a pull off. So something like, just throw in some pull offs there as you see fit. That was maybe a little overboard what I just did. Use your discretion, right? Don't go nuts. Again, like I said, simple is great. All right, so remember, grab the free tabs, pre-order the book. It's out next week. I'm super excited for it, and I will see you next Friday.